G'day and welcome to the Drive Able podcast. I'm Brad Williams and today Ali Akbarian is still at the Sydney ATSA Expo. If you joined in last week into our previous Drive Able podcast episodes, you'll know that we've been doing a series on the ATSA Disability Expos. We first interviewed the CEO of ATSA and learnt all about the ATSA Expos and how they came together. And then in the last episode, Ali did a walk around through the ATSA Expo and gave a brief overview of what's happening. Now, this is another session where we have continued on with the theme. In this one, I flew over to Sydney yesterday and we did a joint session at the Sydney ATSA Expo. So stick around after this break and it is a great episode because we will be going through some of the new vehicles and some of the wonderful things that are on display at the Sydney ATSA Expo and what you could look at doing when you go to the Sydney ATSA Expo next year. So who's excited? Stick around after the break and we'll get into it.
Welcome to the Drive Able podcast, where each episode you get to listen to two of Australia's leading professionals in the area of driving and community mobility for people with disabilities. In each episode, they interview drivers, carers, and industry experts and share the insider's guide to driving with a disability. Here are your hosts, Brad and Ollie.
Hi everyone, I'm really excited to get into today's podcast episode. But before we get started, you're going to enjoy this much better if you go to our YouTube channel. Just go over to Google, put in Drive Able Podcast, make sure you click the link for our YouTube video. You're going to get a lot more out of this one because we're doing some live video, recorded video, I should say, but some live commentary about the cars that are on display at the ATSA Expos. So make sure you go over to YouTube. While you're doing that, I just want to do a quick shout out to our major sponsors that make the podcast possible. That's Mobility Engineering and Williams OT. Look, this show takes a lot of time and money to put together, including going to the ATSA Expos and doing tours around for your benefit. It takes a lot of money to bring it together. So we are always thankful for the sponsorship for making this program available for you to get the most out of it. So make sure you go over to YouTube, Drive Able Podcast on YouTube, and press play on there. And let's make a live cut now to that pre-recorded video.
Everybody, this is Ali Akbarian here with Brad.
G'day everybody.
And we're here at the ATSA Expo in Sydney. So welcome. This is really exciting. This is the biggest expo for disability products in Australia and the biggest one being in Sydney as well. So it's really exciting. We've been here all day. It's late afternoon. That's why the sun's shining. We're going to go inside and have a bit of a look at all the vehicle stands and really get in depth to some of those vehicles and some of the new products because there's a lot of new stuff out there. So you keen on that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I've flown over from Adelaide and I can't wait to show you around what's happening inside. We're going to go and explore some specific cars and some ideas that might work for you. Let's go inside.
Let's go there, so check it out. All right, everyone. Thank you very much for tuning into this. Welcome to the Mobility Engineering stand. So here we are at the premier stand for our vehicles in ATSA Expo. We've got the most number of vehicles on display here. There is 4 vehicles here, and what we're going to do is run you through the caddy with all the different sort of parts that's got onto it and the conversions. And you can see this is actually like a new model caddy, so the latest version Volkswagen. So it's kind of exciting. There hasn't been that many of these out on the road. This kit here, if you have a look at the drop-down conversion, if you come closer, it's got a few little innovative features. It's basically one big solid ramp that comes and folds down to allow access. So if I pull my ramp up, you can see if I click that in, I can still see it's lower than the seat line, so you've managed to achieve that fold in this so it doesn't block the view, right?
And Ali, how does that change from the previous model? So the caddies have been out on the market for a really long time now. This is the new caddy.
Yeah.
How does this change from the previous one?
So the previous ones, well, there's a couple of different versions, but the previous ones with this kind of ride height, they were up here. So you couldn't actually see anything out the back.
Lots of slots in them, weren't there?
That's
so you
right.
could try and see through, but it kind of blocked your view.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So whereas this one here, and it's also kind of a really nice, easy function, just comes down, nice handle. You can get an electronic version for these things. You've got a very nice, clean kit sort of finish, nice stainless steel sides, and also that little belt at the very back, that's actually a winch. So that product there, what it does, which...
But it's...
Got something up
Here we
there,
go.
maybe.
There's a light.
So basically what that thing does is you bring it all the way out, you connect it to your wheelchair, and it actually pulls your wheelchair in, so the user does not have to push them up in, right? The users they are restrained with these restraints, right? And then restraints that then hook on to the back, and you restrain the occupant.
Now a carer needs to do that, don't they?
Yes.
So to be able to be nice and secure in the car, you need a carer to be able to help lock the person into position so the wheelchair is nice and stable. And then you get the seatbelt to go around you so you're nice and secure. Yeah?
And a full lap sash seatbelt for full upper body protection. Now what we've got, if you check out this thing over there, so what we've got there to demonstrate is...
I love this, is brand new.
Yeah.
I love this.
Yeah, so this is what we call the dial dock. And we've spoken about this in our videos and also in our podcast before. This particular one is, which we will cover maybe a little bit in future episodes, but this has got that extra kind of squeezing, so it pulls it down and really tightens it down to the vehicle. So, but the reason why we've got this here behind that car is the dial dock can be an option for these WAV vehicles. So this particular Sunrise chair, which is from our friends at Sunrise, actually has the ability underneath to put a dial dock and click in, right? So that's basically why this is there. You can have that as an option instead of the restraints.
As an OT, and that's really important if you want to do self-driving. So self-driving, if you want to get yourself into position to be able to drive the motor car with the controls, then you need to be able to self-dock. You can't have somebody tie you down, okay? Because we're trying to create independence.
Yeah. So that's that. And now, while we're here at the Caddy, I might show you a couple of other bits and pieces. If you come around, we'll show you the turning lever.
And this is one of my favourite conversions. We're going to do a lot of video about how to get wheelchairs into cars. So we've just done the Caddy, and that's about getting the wheelchair into a bigger van. This one here, which Ali's going to demonstrate for us, the boot's going to open, but this is about getting a wheelchair into a smaller car. So you've had the bigger vans, and we're going to show you more vans. All right, everybody, this is really exciting. What we're showing you here is a wheelchair coming out of a standard car. So it's an SUV. This one's a Mitsubishi Outlander. It's been fitted to this car. We're going to show you a lot of vans, wheelchair access vans. That's what's mainly on display here at the Expo. But this one here shows you how to get a wheelchair into a standard size car. Now, Ali here is sitting in the driver's position. He's activated the button. The boot's automatic, so he's pressed the button for the boot to open. And now he's pressed the button to bring the wheelchair out. And if you've got a good stability in your core, you're able to disconnect, and then you're able to get the wheelchair out, press the button, and it all goes away and packs back into the car. So it's a different type of modification compared to having to drive your wheelchair in. So there's a few things that you'll need to have. You'll need to have core support in your body to be able to have the balance, to be able to reach for your wheelchair. The alternative that he's about to show you right now is what's called the chair topper. And the chair topper is a different version. If you don't have the boot space, well, then we might be able to put a pod on top of the car. And what that does is it takes the wheelchair up into the car. So again, a different type of conversion compared to the wheelchair access where you drive your wheelchair in. This is more for your manual wheelchair user, and for both of these versions you have to have a folding collapsible chair. Okay, it can't be a solid tie-like frame, it can't be a fixed frame, it needs to be a folding frame, so you may just have a specific wheelchair for your transport needs. All things that you can talk through with your mobility team or occupational therapist.
If you want to come closer, while we're here at this car, what we can... Alright, so coming in closer on the same vehicle Brad was talking about, so we have a self-drive situation where someone is able to transfer from a manual chair. Typically, from our experience, if you're in a manual chair where you can use one of these robots or one of these chair toppers, you generally speaking have pretty good stability anyway.
Yeah, you got that transferability through your arms more often than not. So it's going to be more like your thoracic region or lumbar area type of spinal injury, or maybe you've got another condition like an MS which makes the lower limbs weaker and you need the power or the manual wheelchair to be able to help with your general mobility. It's not going to be your high level, complete cervical type of injury for this type of one. That's where you're going to need the power wheelchair.
And then what we have here, I guess, is the in driver's position or whatever set up for that wheelchair access type thing. So I've got here like a plate, a transfer plate, which is sitting relatively in line with my wheelchair height. So I've transferred onto that. I can push that up, so it pushes me in line with my seat. So what it's doing now is it's lifting me. I don't actually have to lift myself. Then I will put that aside. Then I will transfer and slide over. Slide myself over. And then if you look in here, there is a whole various levels of driving controls depending on what my needs are. So I have a left foot accelerator, for example, I could use here. So let's say just one leg's not working, I can use that, right? I also have, if both legs are not working, I have the CT12 hand control. So the CT12 is where you have accelerator with your thumb and then push handle on the brake. We also have a potential of this the Feigl E Classic. So again, it's a left-handed one, and it is basically turn to accelerate and push the brake.
Now, that one, Ali,
yes,
hasn't that been nominated for one of the new products for the show?
Yeah, definitely. So this one we're really excited about. We're hoping we get a good result. So nominated for best new product. It's a new product that's just come out to Australia in the last 12 months. We've worked really hard Mobility Engineering's worked really hard to with suppliers to get them into the country. So that's also a great option. Another option, which is a little bit different but still possible, is what I can do here is what I've got is an over the steering wheel gas ring, right? It's actually not specifically designed for this car, but it doesn't matter. We can sort of get it in there to show you what we're talking about. And then basically, if this was on a car that was designed for, gives you a bit of an idea. So that can accelerate, right? Not actually the appropriate ring for this vehicle, but you just get the idea that you can accelerate with this thing on top, right? So that kind of shows you a whole bunch of driving controls that are typical to someone that would potentially have that access requirement of this wheelchair. So yeah, that kind of gives you a few of those ideas, and again promotes how great it is to come to a place like ATSA where you can try all of this in one car, so it's great. A driving instructor will only have one of these in their car because it's too hard to drive with all these things around, but a demo car can have a multiple things, so you can sit in that one seat and try all these different things just in that one seat. So it just makes it a little bit easier for finding options while all under the one roof.
Yeah, you did a podcast for us, a YouTube video for us walking around the Brisbane Expo, and we really appreciate you doing that, Ali. This time we're at Sydney. At this one, we've got a whole bunch more cars, and we're going to go down and we're going to see if we can talk to some of the other providers here as well and go and talk to them about some of their wheelchair accessible vans. So let's go for a walk. All right, we've walked down now to a different part of the expo. We're actually at the Automobility stand, and we are looking at the brand new Staria. The Staria itself, we think, is going to be a massive game changer. A couple of things about it, all of it, that you can easily see is the windows in it. For somebody in a wheelchair, the windows in this car offers great visibility to be able to look out if you're at a wheelchair height. Now, Ali's here with him as well. He's going to talk from an engineering point of view about some of the different specs that he can notice about this car.
Yeah, so this Staria, as said by Brad, I think is going to be really exciting. I do think it's going to be a bit of a game changer, and the reason why is the car itself, it's like it was made for wheelchairs. Like the internal height is really good. As Brad said, you've got really, really good vision and sort of visibility all around the car. And from what we've spoken to with the modifiers, like Jeff at Auto Mobility and the guys at Freedom, Robert, it's a very easy car to modify as well. Not a lot of structure underneath, as in like big, when I say structure, things that are connecting to like suspension or, you know, mechanical components. It's front wheel drive, most of the mechanics is in the front. So it means we can get a nice big long cut, we can get great access, we can use it for a taxi, and you can have plenty of space in there. Now, what we've got in here, which if you want to walk in here, we'll show you. So what they've got for their innovation here is they've got 2 single seats from TechSafe that you can sit. So the great thing about that is if I'm sitting here as a passenger, I can have someone in the wheelchair sit right next to me, and it can basically be very, very inclusive, feel like we're part of the same family, you know, part of the same seating row. So it's a great, great little option. As you can see here, nice and open. So able to communicate with everyone out the front there. So again, like that Kia, it's quite good and it's quite, but it's just not so open, the Kia Carnival, which is so, this is more like, I feel like I'm in the space with everybody. So I think it's going to be really comfortable, really popular. With these guys, they've got, if you move a little bit further back, like we always recommend, a great lap sash scenario. You really need that for all your wheelchair occupants. They've got their electric retractors. I don't know if Brad wants to mention anything else.
I do. I want to talk about something else.
Yeah.
The internal height of this car is big as a starting point, but then they've lowered the floor, and now this car has a massive internal height. So I think the specs he was saying was 1560, so
Yeah.
1560 millimeters from top to the cut floor at the bottom. But even if you're in a manual wheelchair and you don't need that lowered floor because you're not in a powered wheelchair, this car, this van, the Staria, offers possibilities for somebody to have a manual wheelchair come in without any lowered floor, especially with these window heights as well. They get a really good view. They can maybe come in without having to lower the floor at all if you're in a manual wheelchair. So something really good to consider for this one. With this, there's a real possibility that the wheelchair can go right through to the driving position without any modifications with cutting the floor or any structural changes to the car, which is really, really exciting. A couple of little things. It doesn't even have a gear lever now, so if you've got a spinal cord injury, it's now push button. So push button for park, push button for reverse, push button for drive and neutral. There's no actual lever. So, you know, if you've got a spinal cord injury and you've lost a little bit of hand function, even those little things can be a massive difference for you.
Yeah, and I know that we do have, well, we have heard rumours from Auto Mobility and Freedom that they are secretly working on trying to get one of these in a self-drive situation as well.
Lowered floor all the way.
So it'll be exciting to see if you were listening to this, Robert or Jeff. Let's see who's going to be out with it first. You know?
We'll set up the challenge. Who's going to come first? That's
Yeah,
excellent.
it'll be good to see one. So if you want to move a bit further back,
yeah.
we'll show you the last couple of features of this. So you've got, which Auto Mobility are famous for, the Triflex seating. So the Triflex seating is that seating there. Nice swivel seating, nice and, it's actually, I really love this seating. It's really thin, it's really low profile, but it's really comfortable automotive seating. So it's really, really good. Adjustable headrests, nice and easy to sort of pack away. Fold them up and back away. And then the last thing we'll mention, which is very similar to what we were just talking about with the Caddy, a great little idea here once again, is the Bifold Ramp. So pull that up, lock it in place, and it's even got, which they didn't have on that Caddy, a little bit of a extra lock. And I love this idea because one of the most annoying things is that little rattle when you're driving.
Yep.
So they've thought about those little details, which is really, really good as well. So that's how that works. Pulls that out. Nice and easy.
You're going to unlock it at the bottom there, Ali. Door handle lever.
Here we go. And away we go. So yeah, great little product. The Staria is exciting, and I think we're going to get a lot of hype about it in the market. So get out there and check out the Staria and see what you think about it.
Real quickly, you can see across the background here, we've got multiple vehicles, and that's the benefit of coming to an expo. If the Staria is not the right fit for you, well then there's a Kia Carnival that's behind it. We've spoken about the Kia Carnival in the previous expo that Ali went to here in Sydney, so you can go back and check out that previous episode. He does a walkthrough of the Kia Carnival. So we'll leave that one off of this episode. We really wanted to show you the Staria. We also really wanted to show you the brand new Caddy. But if it's all right with you, I'd actually like to talk through some of the really high-end stuff over at Total Ability, if we can.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's do it.
All right, everyone, we are here now at the Total Ability stand. So we've actually had, and you want to go back and check one of those previous episodes, we've had Paul Craik from Total Ability on our show before, talking about the little telescopic hand controls and other little innovations, basically, that they've introduced to the Australian market. And we are here with another one that they've introduced, and it's become a bit of a kind of a famous product, the Total Ability high-end assessment vehicle, I think is what you call it, high-level assessment vehicle. So there's now a few of these high-level assessment vehicles floating around the country. I know a lot of people want to sort of get access to them, and they are hotly sought after. So we've got Brad here, and we've got one here, and we can do a nice little walkthrough through the whole vehicle and the whole setup.
So this one here has got a lowered floor for wheelchair access through. Excuse me for being on my knees, but that gets me into the right height for this type of conversion. What we're going to do, if you want to come and look over my shoulder, this one's got some really high-end controls. And like Ali said, there's actually 6 cars that are actually going around Australia now. 5 in Australia, 1 in New Zealand. And what Total Ability have done is they've fitted them all with the high-end controls, so people can experiment and do those trials that are really important for NDIS. Just really quickly, these mightn't be perfect for you, but I just wanted to show you some of the cool stuff that happens in these cars. This one up here, that's voice control. So what you can actually say is left indicator, and the left indicator will actually start flashing. Right indicator, the right indicator will start flashing. You can even do things like driver's window down, and the window will go down, and then you say driver window up, and the window will go up. So really great stuff for being able to be completely independent, go through a drive-through, take your food, all of those type of things. Be able to get some fresh air into the car, all really important stuff. If we come back in this way, what we've got here is what's called, I think it's called the Freedom Drive, but it's all electronic, so it doesn't actually have any force to it. You only need to move about 500 grams, which is hardly anything at all. So if you've got a high spinal cord injury, maybe up at your C4, C5 level, you've still got some shoulder function, you can make this brake and accelerate. Brake is always forward, accelerator's back towards you. You don't even need to have hand function because it's actually pulling on my wrist. So that's that side, that's accelerator and brake. What we've got on this side is what's called a mini steering wheel. So what happens is you move your turn in front of you. Now it's not all powered up because we're at the expo right now, so I can't give you a full demonstration, but you can make the steering wheel spin with only the smallest amount of shoulder movement. In the door here, we've got another little bit of different version of the same thing. If you can grip this little ball, you can make it spin that way. So you don't have to have those type of 3 pins to hold you in place. Armrest, it can all be suited to your needs. Dale docking station, they can make it all happen for you, and you can test it out and trial it and do your lessons in it as well to try and get your license before even NDIS will fund these things. So exciting stuff, really exciting stuff.
Yeah, really cool. So we're going to go over now to the Freedom stand and check out their new cars as well. Hi everyone, we are back once again at the ATSA Expo. Now we are at the wonderful Freedom Motor stand, and we are going to show you, and they've got quite a few cars on display as well, but we're going to show you their latest innovation, which is the Kia Celtos. This is a really, really cool product for the market. We've got Brad in the front there, getting himself out towards the back, but it's a great product. This is like really exciting because it's an SUV that I can take with my manual wheelchair or wheelchair at the back. I can transfer myself manually into that seat there. We've got Brad there trying to show you how it works, but he's not that great at it, but it's all right. It's all right.
Some training.
So what we've got is we've got the obviously the Handicare 6-way base, and then what they do is they spin that around, and then you can wheel your wheelchair in, transfer in and out of the chair. Now, like we showed you last time on Freedom, they've got this new sort of system which is really, really flash. Push buttons for operating all the ramps and the lights and everything like that. That's really cool, their system. And yeah, it's a beautiful conversion on a lovely little compact SUV, which is, it's game changing to me. I love it.
Absolutely. I think this is the big thing as well, because what this is it's a small city style car. So that means you can get in and out of smaller traffic, park it in a small parking bay. It's not too high. It's something for a manual wheelchair user to be able to do an internal transfer. So it can have a docking station, but if nobody's traveling in the car, the wheelchair just needs to be secure. So it doesn't need a docking station either if you can make it secure in a different way. So look, I think this is fantastic if you're looking for a small car. Now, one of the downfalls is it's a 2-seater. So it's a bit like more of a utility type of thing where you get 2 seats in the front. But hey, if it offers you freedom and independence in a size that's more functional for you, this is fantastic. And there used to be the Kia Soul, there used to be the Toyota Ruckus. This is that new option, and we're really excited. I think they're just about to go through the final stages of engineering, and it should be on the market very, very soon. All right, I think as I walk out here, I think that just about winds us up for the expo this time. Yep. We really want to thank the people that like Freedom here, Total Ability, Auto Mobility, and also Mobility Engineering for allowing us to come and video their vehicle and do a bit of a walkthrough. We hope that we've shown you them accurately, but as we say, the best thing you can do is set yourself up with a trial.
Yeah, so contact one of these guys. All the guys that we've spoken and shown you today, give them a yell and they can set you up with a trial. If you haven't got an OT, some of them can even put you in touch with good ones that work in that area. So just reach out and get out there and start trying, and then that's the key to get moving forward. So thanks again, and get out to an ATSA.
Yeah, get out to an ATSA in Adelaide. Get out to the Disability Expo that's coming up in October. But if we don't see you beforehand, we'll see you at the next expo. Yeah.
Yeah. See you next time.
Okay, I'm back in Adelaide. Ali's still at the Sydney ATSA Expo. I'm doing this bit of recording all by myself, but we normally do our top 3 takeaways. There's too many takeaways for this episode, and I haven't got Ali here with me, but boy, oh boy, we got so much out of the ATSA Expo. The new Starias, they're absolutely fantastic. I hope you enjoyed them as much as we did. We got fairly excited about the Starias and the lowered floors. We also love that Kia Celtos with the lowered floor, replacing the old Toyota Ruckus and also the Kia Soul for that smaller wheelchair transfer vehicle. Wonderful stuff. And then how about that R11 robot, the wheelchair that comes out of the boot all the way around to the front seat. There's some amazing technology. I really hope that you enjoyed our walk around and education session. Leave us comments down below, give us your feedback, and make sure that you get yourself to the ATSA Expos in the future. Before we wind up this episode, and as we do in every episode, we want to give a shout out to our major sponsors, Mobility Engineering and Williams OT, for helping us bring you this episode today. Williams OT is a driver assessment and rehab service offering all the pieces of the puzzle to assist people with disability reach their driving and community mobility goals. And Mobility Engineering is a team of passionate and dedicated people focused on bringing Australia's largest range of suitable transport solutions for all walks of life. As we say in every episode, the advice provided in this podcast is general in nature. So if you've got any queries about what can work for you, set yourself up with a trial with your local OT or mobility dealer, or what's even better, maybe get along to your local disability expo, whether it's the ATSA Expo that happens in Sydney, Brisbane, and later on it'll be in Melbourne and possibly Geelong. It also goes over to Perth. But if you're in Adelaide, it's the Aged Care and Disability Expo that happens in October. Set yourself up with trials at these expos. What better place where to try out multiple different vehicles and aids to get you out and about on the road. That's it. Make sure you tune into the next episode where we get back into the interview style podcast. We're really looking forward to that one. We've got a fantastic guest and we'll see you in that episode. Thanks for tuning in. Bye for now.
Thanks for listening to the Drive Able podcast with Brad Williams and Ali Akbarian. If you like what you've heard, make sure you like, rate and subscribe. It really does make a massive difference. If you or anyone you know would like to share a story about driving with a disability, or you would like to get in contact, find the show notes, or find the resources mentioned in this episode, you can find us on Facebook. Just search @Drive Able Podcast for more information.